to my party. We're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare.
Good morning, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm having some technical issues with the restream, and I don't know why. Actually, Rumble itself is acting very, very weird, and I'm not exactly sure what's happening, but it seems to be working on my backup computer over there, so I'm not overly concerned about it. I'm just going to have to fight to get to the Rumble comments, which I am still working on. As you can, what is going on here? It's like it's showing. Oh my God, it's so weird. I'm going to click this button. I'm going to click this button, and it's probably going to start like playing noise and being stupid. And all right, so it's working, but I don't know what is going on with it, to be honest with you guys. It is currently inconsequential. All right, so let's go ahead and knock out the Rumble chat. So, True Speaking Dad, first, Andy Pearson, you are not deterred. You are number 2, West Virginia Pappy. You are the turd. Andy, happy second day of taxation is theft for 2024. Very nice, very nice. All right, let me go ahead and fix my chat over here on the restream side so I can actually see who did what. What do we got here? Bradley Collins, first to fell, number 2, Colton. You are the turd. Let's see here. We got Deborah Pate. Let's see. West Virginia Pappas all over the place. Kentucky Goatman. Good morning. Can't stay long. Bob Pita. Catitude. Dean Star from Canada. Where are we at here? Ian's over here. All right. Looks like we got a full crew. As you should be able to tell, the background is completely different now. This is the new 2024 studio. I'm really getting tired of the 2024 cliche statements, so you won't hear me talking about them much more. Needless to say, same corner, different stuff. Got some art on the wall, got some more magical stuff going on there. Clean things up a little bit, and yeah, I think it's going to be a-okay. All right, let's see. I picked up a new Patreon last night. Thank you, Century One, for showing up and showing me that you believe in me for subscribing for an entire year. I appreciate that. If you guys didn't know that, you can become Patreons quite easily. It's normally $3 a month, but if you sign up for the entire year, it's only a little over $30. It's like $30.62 American or something like that. So yeah, you get to be part of the Patreon, part of the inner circle, and get all of the cooler interactions that you don't see here on the interwebs that are free. All right. So as the thumbnail and title state, wash, rinse, repeat. Nothing has changed. In fact, the news cycle has gone completely nuts in the last 12 hours. We got a plane on fire in Tokyo, collided with a Coast Guard aircraft, but apparently the only people got killed are the people in the Coast Guard aircraft. There were 5 of them, and the other airliner that was loaded with people got all the people off before it turned into a fiery blaze. Thank you, Good Boys Guild. I appreciate it. I took you guys' advice, went with something a little lighter, and added some things. Actually went out and bought. I've got some good friends that are actually artists that made those for me. Those are actually pretty cool. There's a big backstory behind each one of them. Got the LP piggy banks in there for you guys. We'll be filling those up little by little. Got all the Jay's Case stuff. Pretty much everything is in there. It's really hard to see because I'm sitting in front of everything, but this is going to be my chirp station right here. I'll be using this to program my radios. I'm going to be using the new chirp software and working with all the different radios. I also have some GMRS, some UV5Gs coming in, and a couple of other little knickknacks here and there, so that we can start playing with Dido. I love it too, but doubt I will have anytime soon. Well, you got to do what you got to do, Kentucky Goatman. Also saw that you're there in the chat. I did hit that friend request back at you, bro. so that we can be friends on Discord. If you guys are watching and you're not part of the Discord, it's a free Discord. There is a members only section that is probably the most active section within the Discord. But there's like 20 different channels that are on our Discord of multiple, a myriad of subjects in the preparedness community. Let's see, that's not important. But I recommend that you get in there. There is a link in the description. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and kick it off here, guys. I'm going to go ahead and push this buttons here. I want to talk about one of the first things that actually that happened over the new year. People kind of started going a little crazy about it. And it's now starting to make the national news. And it is a pretty serious problem because we all know how power works. Once they get it, they want more. They never want to give it up. You know, gone are the days are, you know, the titles like Protector of Rome, that kind of thing. If you don't know what that is, you might want to look it up. But it's got to the point now where people are really starting to get pissed. And the more, because of the way they did it, the more they fight it, the worse it's going to get for them. If you didn't know this, T-Mobile quietly updates its terms to fine commercial users for hate speech. And see, here's the thing, guys, and we're going to get into it a little bit. There are people out there that have T-Mobile that absolutely loved it, but then they found out about this. And then T-Mobile's like, oh, no, it's not you, little man calling me on the phone right now. It's not you who spent 3 hours on hold wanting to talk to somebody to get an answer because I don't have an answer because I'm just a lowly button pusher. No, it's not you. It's the big guys. It's those big evil companies out there, the commercial users. When do they do that? When do commercial users say stupid things at the mass level? You know what I'm saying? When do big blue companies come out and use hate speech? They don't. This is all bull. Let's take a look. All right, here. Mobile communications giant T-Mobile has on the low, which means on the down low, updated its terms of service to include fines if content runs afoul of its perceived violations of hate speech and profanities. Oh, from now on, at least, this applies to marketing text, applications to persons, A2P commercial, and enterprise services, rather than individual consumers. For example, business and campaigns emailing you will be subject to this type of scrutiny, not messages you send to friends and family. We don't believe you, T-Mobile. This changes, however, do come just as the campaign for next year's election is heating up in the U.S. Oh, coincidence. And people previously burned by this heat and their opposition stance to the current U.S. administration are closely looking at development of this kind. The story right now is that starting January 1st, which was yesterday, T-Mobile has new rules for such users. It has decided violates its rules and therefore bandwidth, the bandwidth that you're paying for. The core of this policy is something somewhat unfortunately dubbed shaft. They're giving you the shaft. Sex, hate, alcohol, firearms, and tobacco. Five prohibited campaign content. It's 5 points. I guess it's a paragraph from their rules. Unlawful, inappropriate, or illicit content. No messaging programs can run on the T-Mobile. Okay, I guess it's a thing. T-Mobile's a noun now. Okay, I guess that may promote unlawful, unapproved, or illicit content, including but not limited to spam, fraudulent, misleading messages, depictions or endorsements of violence, inappropriate content, profanity, or hate speech. Endorsement of illegal drugs. Programs must operate according to all applicable federal and state laws, regulation, and I'm not reading all that crap. Aggregators and message senders are expected to enforce restrictions on their network to prevent onboarding these types of. Why don't they just speak in plain language? You know, plain language. That's not even plain language. onboarding these types of content. If determined to support any of the following restricted content, T-Mobile reserves the right to all, oopsie, and not limited to the following actions: suspension of sending rights for provisioned application, address, or campaign. Restriction of you guys read that, right? You guys heard me say that. Suspension of sending rights for provisioned application, address, or campaign. So they could literally say that, hey, if you want to vote for Donald Trump, type 77871 and then MAGA. And then, that's racist. That's hateful. So now they could actually suspend that service on T-Mobile, blocking all T-Mobile customers from that content. Restriction of onboarding new message campaigns. No one cares. Suspension of provisions rights for new application address. Yeah, they're basically saying once we kick you out, there's no way to get back in. And suspension of all network services on the T-Mobile network. Disallowed content, and we're not even going to get into that because it's ridiculous. At this point, it seems to police messages sent via T-Mobile. They are sending as being in violation of their legal or moral issues as the company sees fit. Now, these are originally confusing about what T-Mobile might quietly be up to. As of right now, and for the time being, it is the A2P traffic that might violate their top tier severity of the company's violation rules. All right, this article is hurting my head. It's interesting stuff. If you have T-Mobile, type 1 in the chat. If you do not have T-Mobile, type 2 in the chat. I'm having you do this so that I can watch 1s and 2s. It gives me a warm, fuzzy feeling to know that we're waking up the algorithm. We're going to go ahead and click on this button over here right now, and we're going to take a sip of coffee, and I'm going to go read the comments. While you guys are furiously getting carpal tunnel syndrome trying to type the letter 1 or 2. Oh, my back is killing me. By the way, guys, I was up I actually woke up at 3 in the morning, but and couldn't go back to sleep, but ended up getting up at 5:45, did my 3-mile walk with the penny. That was always fun. And I'm still blasted from yesterday when we went out to do it's called First Hike. It's something they do in Virginia at the state parks where they have trails, and you go out there and you support the state park system. It doesn't raise money. It doesn't do anything. Hell, they even have an organization that brings hot cocoa out there for you for free. It's just something to do. And they even suspend, and it's funny too, because normally to get into the state parks at a minimum, you got to pay a parking fee. But they actually suspend that during the first. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and check the chats. I'm going to check the Rumble chat first, since it's sparse. It's sparse, guys. It's sparse. You're just barely. Rumble, you guys are normally knocking it out of the park. Let's see here. Rumble's full of a lot of watchers. I often wonder if Rumble is something that people watch, or not watch, but they're listening in the background. They're at work or something like that, because they always have more viewers, but there's less activity. There's less activity, whereas YouTube is either comparable or just lower in viewership, but for the live streams anyway, but they're more active in the chats. All right, let's see here. Good Boys Guild said, so if I say I hate beats, will they fine me? That's stupid. Hey, hate speech is hate speech. What do we got here? 2 not any better. I'm AT&T. Yeah, I got out of AT&T years ago. I literally got so pissed off. I don't know if I've told you. If I've told you the AT&T story before, type 5 in the chat. I'll wait. All right, I haven't told it to you. Let's see. The AT&T story is actually pretty simple. I moved down to Florida. Was starting a new business down there. And my phone was just dying. So I needed to get a new phone. So I was like, I've always been with AT&T. So I went over to the AT&T place, signed up for the new phone, and everything was hunky-dory for about 3 months. But I just kept noticing that my bill kept getting more and more expensive every 3 months. And I normally, if you guys know anything about me in the Patreon, I actually show people like how much time I spend on the cell phone. And it just, I wasn't spending any more time on my cell phone, but the bill kept going up and up and up. It was $5 every month. And so I called him and I said, listen, I joined up and it was this price and now it's this price. And you can't explain to me. I call you every month and you can't explain to me why my bill is going up $5 every month. There's no policy change. There's nothing in the contract. It's you're just doing it. And they had no explanation for me. So I literally took the phone. I don't even know if I should say this. I literally took the phone back to the AT&T store. And if you don't know anything about cell phones, you can actually push a set of buttons on cell phones. It's different for every phone, and reset it to its factory settings. It wipes out everything. It wipes everything off the phone, and it's just as if now you had taken it out of the box and never turned it on before. So I literally did that. I literally sat down with the AT&T person and asked them, hey, how do I do this? And they like looked it up, and I was like, bloop, 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 and okay, there you go. Done with you guys. See you later. And I walked out. Now, of course, back in the real world, I'm going to get a bill from AT&T every year. Saying they owe them so much money, this, that, or the other thing. But I did return the phone to them, so they couldn't charge me for the phone, even though they tried to. And it was operational at the time I handed it to them. And although I had a contract with them that I never paid, it's important to know your state's statute of limitation on bill collection. So that's my AT&T hate speech story. I'll never go back to them. It was absolutely awful service. Let's see here. Continue on with the Rumble. Let's see. I want to go out and walk, but it's too cold. No such thing, Good Boys Guild. No such thing. It was 35, feels like 27 this morning. Get yourself a nice thick jacket. Get yourself I can't remember what they call them. There's actually a name. The hikers have a name for them. It's like a tube of cloth. But if you know what that is, type that in the chat. I wear one of those, and all you do is just wear it up to your nose, put it back here, and then get yourself a little beanie and put it on top of that. And they X in the back, and it holds it in place. Pop my earbuds in, and we go walking. And gloves, obviously, gloves. Let's see here. I'm working, so not typing. Gotcha, Andy Pearson. No big deal. Let's see. AT&T priced me out of their plan, same as you, little by little. Yeah, exactly. Verizon screwed me as well. I have never had a problem with Verizon. Verizon, their rates. Listen, the economy sucks. When the economy sucks, the rates are going to be higher. It's that easier. And they're never going to go down. They're never going to be like, hey, the economy got better, guys. Here's a $5 reduction. It's never going to happen. And Verizon is what stinks about Verizon is that, and I wouldn't even say it stinks. I would say it's very American. Is that they've got the best gadgets. There are now more Android phones than there are. There's more of a preference for on the market for Android phones than there are for iPhones. They have the best network. They have the most reliable network. It's about $100. I think I pay like $107 a month for my phone. But that's the standard. That's the standard. And as the economy gets worse, then your dollar loses its buying power, and you're not going to be able, and things are going to become more expensive. It's that easy. If you made $10,000 a month, you wouldn't give a shit how much you paid for the use of your cell phone. You would not care, right? So it's not about them. It's really about you. It's really about the economy. All right, let's see here. Hey, Viking Queen, good to see you, girl. Good to see you. All right, so let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and check the YouTube chat. I'm going to try and fire up my standalone pop-up YouTube chat. I don't know if it will work, but I need to try and make it work because it's easier to use than the chat thing that I have for Restream. I need to push more of these buttons. There it is right there. Go live. Come on, Button King. There's not. Somebody was like, so what is it like being a YouTuber? I said, it's like being a 5-man production team, but you're only one dude. That's what it's like. All right, got my pop out chart going there. Got my studio set up. All right, I think we're gonna make you a little bit bigger. That's what she said. All right, so let me go ahead and scroll up here before we had to start doing the numbers thing, because people started like popping. Let's see here. Rumble is behind. Gotcha. Gibbsby, good morning. Kentucky Goatman. Yeah, hopefully you're still here. Deborah says she loves the art. What's that? Plane on fire, earthquake, tsunami. Japan's having a good year so far. I know, right? It's only day 2. Where are we at here? Where are we at here? Rip. Good morning. West Virginia Pappy says targeting content creators. I don't know exactly what that is. Maybe you're making reference to the T-Mobile thing. It's very possible. And I actually had some things, some things to talk about that today. But what it came down to was they were just long, boring, drawn out articles about nothing. You guys don't know how much junk that I read through just to find you stuff. It's pretty insanely stupid about how much information is out there that's not really information. West Virginia Pappy says everything we're saying about Japan right now, it sounds like a Godzilla movie. Godzilla. Where are we at here? Catitude says, aren't content creators business owners since most are paid? That's a whole lot of people. No, well, there, if you looked at it like that, but they've got some, it's commercial. So technically, just because you're a business owner, I'm not technically a business. I have no like LLC or sole proprietorship or anything like that. I just do the work and collect the money. And then, at the end of the year, I tell the IRS what I did, and they either tax me or they don't, and I give them money, just like everybody else. I think this year I'm going to start this up as an official business. As you can see, I've changed a few things. I do have some newer equipment, and things are starting to roll in a direction that I kind of like. I would like to make more money, because more money means that I can spend it on different things that I want to spend it on. Primarily getting out of Christmas debt. That's really my goal over the next 3 months, is to make enough money to get out of Christmas debt. And so, yeah, you guys are supporting me getting out of Christmas debt. I rarely spend the YouTube money, and YouTube money is kind of a joke because I don't make any money on YouTube at all. There's no like little, you don't have to watch any commercials when I turn my live stream on. Let's see here. Agreed. Where are we at here? Cool Colt, good to see you, bro. Gibbsby, good to go. But not for long. Switched to the price, but had enough of BS. Their CS sucks. Yeah, customer service. Ian says, that's how I normally you Rumble just on the background. Gotcha. Let's see here. Have you had US Cellular? Have had US Cellular for 20 years now. Yeah, West Virginia Pappy. I used to have, that was the very first cell phone that I had that was like a real cell phone and not a bag phone. I don't even remember who I had with a bag phone, but that's right. I'm old enough to have a bag phone. But yeah, US Cellular was my very first cell phone. And what I liked about US Cellular at the time was I was constantly deploying. So when I was, they would let you suspend your service. And then when you came back off deployment, you just went into the office and said, hey, I'm back. And they flipped the switch and your cell phone would work. A baklava. Yes, that is something that they do call it. But and Major Ken, welcome you. I know you're last as usual. But no, there's another name for it too, and I can't remember what they call it. Let's see here. Guns coast to coast. Okay. Let's see. Incorrect. I make over 10K a month, and I care what I pay. It's how I keep my money. I don't know what I'm incorrect about, but thank you very much. Remember, in a bad economy, the hookers get better looking. In a bad economy, hopefully no one's dependent on the hookers. Let's see here. Cool Colt says, I have 5 iPhones, 5 watches, 2 tablets, and I pay $350 plus a month with T-Mobile, and was over 500 with Verizon. Oh yes, T-Mobile is less expensive. See, here's the thing about, it's like, okay, so cool, Colt, you got that. You didn't just go like every once a week. Oh, I need one more phone. Oh, I need one more tablet. Hey, give me another smartwatch. That's not what happened. You got in on some package deal, okay? And that's how you're saving all the money. I don't know what the hell you need all those things for. Let's see here. Going to work. Bye. See you later, Kentucky Goatman. Almost the same situation here. Bradley says, I have always been told that as technology gets better, it becomes cheaper. That's true. But somehow that's not becoming true with services so far. Well, the problem is that the technology has become cheaper, but we've hit that standard. We've hit that standard where no one is making anything better that could be more expensive to draw more people away from that piece of the economy into that piece of the economy. So it's all pretty much standard. It's just like, Intel's chip system, what they have, the i3, the i5, and the i7. Basically, they're all i7s. They've just given them a different name. They're not designing anything new. They're making it better and better and better and better and better. There's nothing new to draw people away. You guys remember when plasma TVs were somewhere between $10,000 and $5,000? You remember that when they first came out? And now I can get a freaking, ultra high definition LCD TV for like $138, and so it does work in some places, but it's specifically in the cell phone industry. The tech is just where it is right now. We haven't achieved that piece where there's something new out there to draw people's attention to. Let's see here. Verizon was getting too expensive. Gotcha. Gibbsy says, I remember thinking I was cool with a car bag phone. Oh yeah, I stuffed that down between my seats, had a little antenna. Then I got the antenna that you can like run out your back window. You're like on the side of the road. You remember when it wasn't illegal to use your phone and drive your car? You'd be like next to a cop. What's up, man? Let's see here. Gator. There you go. You got it. There you cool coat. That's it. The Gator. The net Gator. Yep. Bradley says, Bradley, I'm trying to double that, laugh out loud. Got to catch up to my wife, but I started to climb the 24K a year. Gotcha. I have all that crap because my wife and kids, I transferred them all to Verizon. I gotcha. Let's see here. And Deborah says, Guns, are you a armor or dealer? Oh, I gotcha. Guns Coast to Coast sells boom sticks. I like it. Let's see here. I'm going to run over to the Rumble side real quick before we move on. Viking Queen seems to be omnipresent there as well. Let's see here. You're here. That's the main thing. My first cell bag phone was with Houston Cellular. And Andy says, I carried a Verizon work phone and my T-Mobile phone. Essentially, the coverage was the same. T-Mobile had good service in Romania. I gotcha. Yeah, I mean, there are some places you just kind of have to know. It's like, what is it? If you guys didn't know this, AT&T does not have any service like dedicated AT&T towers, actually like service or logistics on the eastern shore of Virginia. Like zero, none. Everything, every tower is like owned by Verizon, and everybody leeches off of it. So we have T-Mobile out here. We actually have T-Mobile stores, but if the further south down the peninsula you get, the less service you get. It doesn't matter what you're running, and the further you get away from the main highway that runs up and down the peninsula, the worse the service gets. Matter of fact, we just got Spectrum cable out here last year, and before that, you had to use like the internet, the Virginia. It's like the Eastern VA Internet Virginia something service, and it was crazy. If you'd have to tell them like, okay, I live here, I want cable, and they'd be like, okay, we'll send you, tell you how much it's going to cost, and then you get an email saying it's going to cost $1,500 just to set up the service. So yeah, this whole spectrum is really changing where we live. So let's see here. Okay, so I think we're good on the chat. Well, there we go. Both. That's a side gig, not what I do. Gotcha. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on. We're going to move on to. We're going to start sharing that tab, and we're going to start sharing that tab. We're going to push that button right there. All right. We're going to go ahead and let's see. We've been doing this for half an hour, guys. Do me a favor. Type the number 7 in the chat. Let's wake the algorithm up. Let's get that. Let's get this going. Legacy Media complains that social media platforms aren't censoring deep fakes enough ahead of the 2024 elections. These people are scared. They are so scared. I think that's one of the biggest things. And I had a lot of stuff about artificial intelligence queued up for you guys today, but it was very, very dry. The end state of artificial intelligence and their true worry about is not that it's going to take over and drop a nuclear weapon someplace. That's not what they're worried about. They're worried about people making political ads with artificial intelligence, super hyper realistic characters, which they're already doing right now, and creating feeds that can say and do anything, because it's not a real person, any time of the day, on any platform, and actually influence the election. So those people in the blue ties are kind of scared right now. What do we got here? Let's see here. And this is coming off the Associated Press. My cursor is going nuts. Let's see here. The Associated Press used a reliable wire service that provided actual news stripped of opinion and interruption for news media to incorporate in their own reporting. But things have changed. In a piece warning that deepfakes have gone mainstream, the AP also managed to claim right in the title that social media guardrails are fading. Spoiler, the article's call to action is basically, we need even more censorship over here. The footage, let me see what's showing up on the screen. Perfect. Gonna click those buttons over there. The footnote to this piece is interesting. Usually there are simply legal warnings and other factual information, but here the agency defined itself as one that receives support for first one, there we go. It receives support from several private foundations. Isn't that special? People getting involved in our stuff that ain't got no business doing it. For what purpose, do you say? To enhance its explanatory coverage of elections and democracy. The phrase explanatory coverage of democracy doesn't sound like not something George Orwell would edit out of his writing. And now, how one covers elections, democracy in an explanatory fashion. First, this is all about the 2024 U.S. presidential ballot, although it starts off by mentioning the previous election. The January, I'm not even going to say that. I'm not even going to read that. That's so ridiculous. There is an almost comedic movement in the article when former President Trump himself, since 2016, the victim of the notion that elections can be trusted. And many Democrats believe he's not a legitimately elected president, and feel free to say so. Accompanied by a fierce media campaign. I'm reading the news, YouTube. I didn't say that. Is now accused as the one guilty of the trends. Many Americans, egged on by former President Donald Trump, have continued to push the unsupported idea that elections throughout the U.S. can't be trusted. A majority of Republicans, 57%, believe Democrat Joe Biden was not legitimately elected president, writes the AP. There's a quote down here. I expect a tsunami of misinformation. I can't prove that. I hope to be proven wrong, but the ingredients are there, and I'm completely terrified, said the University of Washington Oregon, unwittingly shooting the whole anti-deepfake conspiracy theory right in the foot. So what this comes down to, guys, is the left is really worried that there are going to be independent media sources out there that are going to say things that they don't want them to. They don't want the zombies, the sheeple, the normies, whatever you want to call them. That they don't want these people to hear these things because it might affect their opinion. It might bias them towards conservatism, towards not spending $12 for a Snickers bar. It might actually do that. Truth be told, watching the news this morning, there is a huge trend of Hispanic, not just Hispanic, but young Hispanic voters that are now moving over to the conservative side, which is kind of odd because most Hispanics are conservative, but unfortunately there's a large sect that have done the Democratic brainwashing, whatever it is, and now they're starting to get smart. Hopefully they'll get smart enough by election time. All right, let's go ahead and check the chat real quick. Window Liquor. Hey, Window Liquor showed up. Good to go, bro. Election. Laugh my F. I'm not going to say that. Laugh my butt off. If you believe your vote counts, you have counted your brainwashed. Hey, good job on spelling your correctly. Cool, Colt. What about Saudi Arabia and the UAE joining BRICS? Not surprised, to be honest. Yeah, I saw that this morning, but I didn't want to talk about that because I think that BRICS is a good idea for a live stream tomorrow. Kind of bring you guys up to speed. I haven't really been. I've been staying away from BRICS because there's a lot to digest there, guys. There are so many geopolitical data points when you start talking about BRICS. Instead of BRICS bad. But why? I'm not exactly sure. I just know it's bad because somebody on YouTube told me it was bad. I don't want to be that guy. Let's see here. But yeah, I definitely saw that. Tracy showed up. Good morning. Good morning. And All American Prepper showed up. Good morning, my friend. Good morning. Let's see here. Let's see. Andy Pearson says misinformation. There's truth and lies. Miss/disinformation. Yep. Well, sometimes when you play their game, you got to say their words. You just got to know which ones that you want to say and confirm on. You know what I'm saying? You got to do it. All right. Looks like we're cruising right along here. I'm going to go ahead and share this quick one with you right here. That one, and there we go. So if you guys haven't heard about this, Amazon has fired like 27,000 people, but the truth is that's when they have over 1 million plus employees worldwide, that's a drop in the bucket. That really is a drop in the bucket. Now, whenever we talk about people being fired, I've said this before, I'll say it again. I always remember that scene from The Fifth Element where the bad guy, he's walking down the hallway, ching, 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 and one of his minions comes up and says, "Oh, we've got a problem with this, and this. The board says we should fire 100,000." And he just looks him dead in the eye and says, "Fire 1 million." It's because those numbers don't mean anything. They don't mean anything to these big companies. So this article is Amazon silently sacking. So what's being said is that it's not just a firing of people. What they're doing is they're actually firing them in a way that it doesn't matter how long they were there. Yeah. So right up front, this is not financial advice, and I am not an expert. And Amazon has a stock problem. It's not only Amazon, but they have more to lose. If you're a customer, that's going to be bad for your business too. In 2023, Amazon laid off more than 27,000 people. Well, that's a big number. It's deceptively small for a company with more than 1.6 million employees. It's 1.7% of their company. The vast majority of the layoffs happened in retail, where a majority of Amazon employees work. Their layoffs hit when layoffs hit. AWS is Amazon Web Services, and that is everything in the world is like linked to Amazon Web Services. It was mostly areas where not revenue generated or had lower margins. I don't really care about the stock, but what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk to you about this man's story. And unfortunately, it's there we go. I expected there will be a major Amazon Web Service outage in 2024. No amount of multi-region redundancy will protect you because everybody is linked to them. You know, there was a time when I would actually, like, before I even started anything on the internet, I would ask them if they were if they moved their data through AWS, and if they told me yes, I'd be like, later. Hold on a second. All right, let's see here. There has already been an increase in large-scale events throughout Amazon, but AWS is so big, most customers don't notice. There is a direct result of the RTO and Amazon's silent sacking of thousands of people. Amazon isn't incentivizing to publicly share LSEs. Only outage customers notice are worthy of a dashboard update, but even those are quickly swept under the all greens dashboard. Amazon is an operationally strong company, much stronger than any company I've ever worked for before. But those operational practices depend on people. When people are eliminated to raise the stock price bar, the operational practices suffer. Now, why did I tell you guys about that? Because things that we use all the time are hooked to AWS. I'm not joking. When something goes down, okay, and you're trying to figure out why it went down so that you can, like, try to figure out, hey, man, well, I'm not going to be able to do this the rest of the day because it's this company. And I know traditionally I can't use that website for half a day after it goes down. Well, if they're hooked to the Amazon Web Service, which a lot of them are, basically the servers, guys, then and AWS goes down, somebody has to fix it. And when they don't have enough people to fix the problem because it's all automated now, it's going to affect everyone. All right, so this is this guy's story. Amazon won't fire me. On September 1st, 2023, I was told by my skip level manager, I don't know what that is. That sounds like an Amazon thing, and VP, that my team and an adjacent team were being eliminated. They claimed we all did such a good job, or we did all such good work that they wanted us to remain at Amazon. We still have a job, just not a role. I was skeptical of how it was communicated, or rather not communicated, by management, and I was asked if severance was an option. I was repeatedly told it would be once we'd exhausted other options. They told us our number one priority was to find another job. Every role we found was significantly downsized, lower pay, lower title, RTO, or various other things. It was clear they wanted us to take a different role we could quit. It was clear they wanted us to take a different role we could quit later. My management wanted to retain the headcount, but couldn't do layoffs. On October 16th, I asked my VP for the severance I was told would be available. He let me know HR wasn't aware of what he was doing and he would have to get approval. It would take some time. Every week for the next 2.5 months, I asked for an update on my employment and severance package. I was either ghosted or given a variety of excuses. It's now December 30th, and I'm currently still unemployed. I'm currently still employed by Amazon. It hasn't only been happening to my team. This has been happening in multiple areas as Amazon silently sacks people without being required to give them severance or announcing layoffs. I've heard similar tactics being used at other companies, mostly large companies, and will only continue in 2024 as they make decisions that drive short-term profits over all else. So why am I telling you that, guys? Well, because you guys still work. I'm retired and I've got time to do this, so it doesn't affect me. But it affects you, and here's why. Because one of the tactics that larger businesses are now using, where they have these employees that have been around, for 10, 15 years. And, they're always told that if you leave, if we have to force you out, give you a pink slip, whatever it may be, a layoff, well, then there's severance packages that are involved. And that means money that's given to you. It's only a good sized lump sum. So what they're now doing to keep from paying those is they're saying, hey, listen, I know you used to be this super duper high speed IT guy, but now we're going to move you over to human resources, over to packaging, or over to compliance. And then we're going to lower your salary. And it's like they're starting all over again. And the idea is that they get them into a job without firing them, so that they get so bored of their job, they're so unhappy that they quit, and then they will never have to pay them any severance. So, and it's really difficult to prove that that is actually happening. It's really difficult to prove in a court of law. And because in this case, Amazon can always be, listen, we could have just fired him. You know, we could have just said, hey, you're gone, and then not given him any severance packages or anything. You know, we could have done that, but we didn't. We kept them on. So we're really trying to help these guys out. But that's not really what's happening. That's not really what's happening. Let's see here. We're going to go ahead and go to the chat real quick here. Skip level boss is your boss's boss. Gotcha. Thank you, Andy. Let's see. All American Prepper says predictive programming. That was based on the last subject here. Guns and Coast to Coast says Amazon has been very profitable. It's still a good buy for AI on their cloud server farms. The consumption will only get worse even with bad economy. True. Gibbsby, there are predictable layoffs firing like crazy for 2024. Absolutely. If you guys don't think that there's going to be layoffs in 2024, you are misinformed. It is an election year, and it's always good for people to keep their jobs during election year. But here's the thing, guys. When you've got Amazon donating millions of dollars to the DNC, when you've got all these different big companies who are very blue tie oriented giving to the DNC, they don't care. They figure they can just spend that money, get some more publicity, look like good guys, and then bury these stories of how they're getting rid of people. Let's see here. Every time my neighbor gets a package delivered, I make money. I got you. Let's see here. What is it? Guns Coast to Coast. I'm an Amazon affiliate as well, but here's the thing, man. You're not making that much money. So if you've got some magic thing you need to tell me about, you need to go find me. You need to contact localprepper@gmail.com. Let's see here. Window Liquor says, learn multiple trades if you want to survive in an economic crash. Yeah, that's true. I mean, but here's the thing. There's a little bit of flaw in that mentality, and I'll tell you why, Window Liquor. Because if everybody learned multiple trades, that makes you're a handyman. Everybody be a handyman. How many handymen do you see running around? You know, there's like one or two in every little town. What happens when there's 20 of them? I'll just leave that there. Let's see here. The revenue stream is, we did that already. A lot of big box stores across the board are cutting jobs. Rite Aid, CVS, Walgreens, Walmart, Amazon. Most retailers are cutting. Basically, you keep your job based on performance, not seniority. Hey, and you know what? I don't really have a problem with that. I really, really don't. You know, I mean, there's pluses and minuses to that particular type of system, but they're no better and no worse than the other types of systems. Let's see here. My magic thing is I own the stock, not an affiliate. Gotcha. Let's see here. AI will take 90% of the restaurant jobs, like self-checkout, taking jobs, police jobs will be cut out drastically due to AI. It's about to get real. Yeah, there's some truth to that, Window Liquor, but here's the thing. People are getting pissed. I don't know if you guys, when's the last time you guys walked into a McDonald's? If you walked into a McDonald's and you enjoyed the experience, type 1 in the chat. If you've walked into a McDonald's in the last 90 days and were absolutely disgusted with the service, disgusted with the experience, type a number 2. If you don't eat fast food, you're a liar. Well, there might be one guy in here that I know that might not eat fast food. We'll see. Get to typing, because I think the numbers won't be lie. Catitude says, "Ooh, no McDonald's here at all." But It's absolutely dreadful. While you guys are typing that, it's absolutely dreadful. You walk in and it's like, skip the line. And you're like, oh, okay, I'll do that. Beep, 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 beep. And it's like you can actually like have your own profile in McDonald's if you guys didn't know that. But it's like skip profile. And then you like trying to figure out I just want a number 4 with a Coke. It's like, no burger, their menu system is all jacked up. So after a good 2 minutes of pushing a button that you could have relayed to somebody verbally while they push the buttons that they already know how to push, okay? You stand in line, you look at a board, and it's like it's processing and serving. So it's like now you're a number, right? And there's a whole buttload of freaking now servings, and there's only a few processing, right? So you see your number like boom, and then it disappears. It's like, well, that's pretty good. That's pretty awesome. Then you stand there for another 10 to 15 freaking minutes with other people looking at each other going, this freaking sucks. And then they screw it up half the time. Half the time they don't have the drinks right. It's like you got to ask them for 50 things. You might as well be going through the drive-through. The drive-throughs actually work faster than the walk-ins, which should not be that way. Should not be that way. Let's see here. Tefel says, I haven't gone into a McDonald's in over 3 years, too far to travel for fast food where I'm located. Gotcha, Tefel. Ain't had McDonald's in years. Man, you guys don't eat enough McDonald's. Let's see here. Colt says, most services sucks, period. And self-service further encumbers the process while you still need a person to give you your merchandise. Deborah says, I hate McDonald's. Man, I might have stumbled onto some sore stuff here, man. I had no idea I was ripping the Band-Aids off so many scars. Let's see. Those McDonald's interfaces are the first steps in replacing the employees with robots. Well, you remember they tried that. You remember they really did try to do that. There are some places in California that have no humans up front whatsoever. So they did it. They're trying to do it. But I think that thing that we can't talk about had a serious effect on the business model and processing of customers in the fast food industry. What I can tell you is that the places that went back to the old, like Wendy's, went back to the old way, and people love it. People absolutely love it. But the people who have stuck around in this new way, they absolutely hate the process. 100% hate the process. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to push this button over here. Let me check this article out real quick because that's all constitutional stuff. I think we're going to go ahead and save that for tomorrow. We're rolling up on 1 hour right now. Let's see. Honestly, I'm surprised they still have walk-ins up since that thing. Cookout is better than McDonald's. Gotcha. Let's see here. Well, Cookout's always been good. They've always been good. Cookout is, if you guys don't have Cookouts in your areas, they're very customer service related. They really do. They're really going crazy in that kitchen. There's real human beings back there making that food. And it's good food too. It's good too. And so if they're backed up, it's because everybody on the planet is trying to get their food out of the cookout. So, okay. So I think that's really going to be about it. I want to thank Century One for being my newest Patreon. I will get in the Patreon today and get you set up as well as I can. Remember to please interact. If you are not part of the Discord, the free Discord, you should be. Go down there, get the link, find it, join. I'm telling you, man, it's the things that we're doing right now, this very second, are exactly the things that we do in the Discord every single day when this live feed goes off. Trying to think if there's anything else. I think that's really about it. So we're going to go ahead and kill it. Until the next time, stay safe, have a great day, and I shall see you when I see you. If you want to support the channel, you know where to find the links. You guys have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Going to push some buttons now. Shut up, phone.